Good evening, it's Robert Sidell. This is welcome to another edition of the Gateway Show on from 6 to 7 p.m. live on Sunday evenings on the number one talk station in Las Vegas, also simulcasting on Facebook, and then simultaneously it will be and also posted on YouTube afterwards. And on YouTube, you can listen to it anytime, any place, and just type in Robert Sidell, really. That's the easiest thing to do, Robert Sidell, Sidell. I should pull it up. If you had to, you can add in the Gateway, but I don't think you have to. Just try typing in Robert Sidell and see what happens. So I just want to invite you to join with me during this hour to have some relaxation, some regeneration, and some rejuvenation. You know, when I do this show, I really give a lot of thought in my heart and soul. What can I do that can make a difference in your life, our lives, and all life, really, and whatever life we touch, all lives that we touch, I guess would be a good way to put it. And so I just want you to know I'm thrilled to have that opportunity with you tonight. Before I go on any further, actually, I'll tiny little bit about my background. A lot of you already know this. I've been a lawyer now. For me, it's hard to believe this, but I've been a lawyer now for 48 years. 48 years. Graduated in 1977 from UC Berkeley. It used to be called Bolt Hall in California. And it's been quite an amazing journey all those years. I practice right here in Las Vegas. I do for over 30 years now. I've done exclusively injuries and accidents. And hopefully, God willing, you'll never need that. But if you do, you can always call me free of charge. I'm happy to try to help you find a solution or tell you what we can do or not do for you. But it's always a pleasure to be here on Sunday nights. The purpose of this show is to share really a feeling of love, of grace, of healing, of rejuvenation. It's a place where we can join together and lift each other up in love and grace. And a lot of times I have guests. Tonight I'm sharing a message just from my own heart. And it's really about the message of what can we do to lift each other up? What can you and I do to make our lives really meaningful? What can we do to really make sure we're not missing the boat? We're not missing the journey, the gift of our lives. Because it's easier to do that. I was looking at some pictures today. It was one of my children's birthday. And I was looking at pictures going back like 30 years ago. And I suddenly realized, and some of you who are getting closer to my age or older than me might already know this feeling. That's not that long. It's kind of scary to look back and say, hey, we looked a lot younger back then. And like, where are we going now? And what are we going to make of the gift of life now? So that's what this show is really about, is what can you do with the precious gift of life that you have right now? Because that's all we really have, any of us. Tomorrow's not promised. We can't go back to yesterday. It's funny, I had a guest over just a little while ago. I said, so far, I don't think I've ever known anybody know how to go back even 30 seconds, in time. The bottom line is we get this present moment, we get to share it, and the question is, what can we do to make it most valuable? What can we do to bring the joy of love and peace and grace? So I'm going to put a little bit of music on right now. I'm going to do kind of a guided meditation, kind of a healing meditation for a minute here, just to get us kind of in the right mood. If you happen to be driving, make sure you keep your eyes open and alert. So just take a deep breath in with me right now and feel that power of life flowing through your blood veins and through every part of yourself. Feel the feeling of vibrancy and vitality coursing through your veins and your spirit and your consciousness. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you make a difference. You are important. You may think, well, what difference do I make? But you know what? We all make a difference, every one of us. We all make a difference more than we think we do. There are people that enjoy your smile and want to keep seeing your smile. And there's people that like your sense of humor or your lack of it some days. But the bottom line is there are people that really enjoy you and you make a difference to them. And if you weren't around, they would notice it. Because it's a precious gift that we're in called life. So take a deep breath in right with me right now. Suck in that very life force and dare to trust that right now, in this very moment, we are immersed in love and in grace and in healing and in joy. Dare to trust that right where you are, you're surrounded by love and goodness and health and happiness. You may question yourself sometimes. You may wonder, are you really worthy of the very best? You may wonder, does God care about you? Does God even know about you? Any of these things can go through our minds sometimes. But right now, I invite you to open yourself to the idea that the living Spirit of God does know you, does love you, and does want the very best for you. And I invite you right now to open yourself to the infinity of that joy, the infinity of that grace. Let yourself feel that love. Let yourself feel that peace and that grace and that healing energy right now. Through every single particle of your body, down to your toes and up to your legs and your back and your spine, your neck and your ears and your eyes, the full living power of grace is within you. Just imagine right now you're being poured into by the healing power of God's infinite love. At this very, very moment, you're being poured into by the infinite healing power of God's love. At this very moment. Not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow too, but right now, we're talking about right this second. Open yourself to the idea of being filled right now, just kind of infilled. So as you breathe in, you feel aliveness and joy and peace. And when you exhale, let all the stress and the concerns and the apprehensions leave you. So breathe in, and let infinite joy come into your heart. Breathe in and let grace and healing come into you as a human being. Right now. No matter what your story is, what you think you have or have not done, dare to open yourself to the infusion of the most holy and infinite awareness of God coming into you right now. No matter what ways you've fallen short or which ways you think you haven't fallen short, it doesn't matter. Tonight, dare to feel a love pouring into you that's teaching you and embracing you and giving you possibilities greater than you've ever imagined. So just take a deep breath in right now. That infinite power that gave rise to this very universe loves you and me and wants us to thrive and succeed. That's kind of amazing to think about, isn't it? The very power that brought the stars and the sun into existence and brought the earth and the moon into existence, brought all the life into existence, that very power loves you and wants the very best for you right now. And you have not been forgotten. Your grace and your love and your healing is absolutely critical to many, many people. So right now, in this very moment, dare to feel that love surrounding you and enfolding you, perhaps in a way you've never felt it before. Try to feel it around your neck and your spine, your shoulders and your legs and every part of your body. Aliveness and joy and healing right now, exactly where you are. Amazing things are happening. You're in the middle of a miraculous kingdom, a miraculous journey. You can't even imagine the possibilities coming into your life even now. Whatever you are and wherever you are, the best is yet to come. Take another deep breath of life energy into your body. Dare to know yourself as a holy, magnificent creature created by God, filled with infinite power, grace, love, joy, healing, forgiveness. Dare to know in this very, very moment that whatever you're doing and whoever you are, amazing good is unfolding you and surrounding you, right where you're sitting, wherever you are. Dare to know you are loved and surrounded by joy right now. See if you can feel it right around you. I feel that love myself right now as we're speaking. See if you can feel the infinite love of God just embracing you. Like a nice warm hug on a cool day that would just make you feel so good and so loved. See if you can feel that right now. That wonder, that joy, that grace, that healing right now. Dare to know that that energy can come into you right now and begin to heal anything that your body needs to be healed. Into your heart and your blood vessels and all your organs, your liver, your pancreas, your kidneys, everything, every part of you is being healed and lifted up by God's grace. As we're speaking, there's literally a rejuvenation to your skin. So what people see looks young, youthful. But I'm talking also about inside of you. Rejuvenation of the inside of your blood vessels, inside of every part of your body. Just an aliveness and a joy and a love pouring in and through you right now. So this is Robert Sidell. You're listening to the radio show, the Gateway Show, and we're on live. I'm going to go to a break. I'm still going to be with you on Facebook, for those of you on Facebook. And for those of you on the radio, I'll be back in just a few short minutes, so stay tuned. Talking about how to feel rejuvenated and in touch with your purpose on life while you've been given the gift on this earth. This is Robert Sidell. Stay tuned. My friends listening on Facebook, I'm trying to think how to, I'm always trying to figure, I want to do an experiment, really. And so life's an experiment. One of my heroes and teachers was Mahatma Gandhi. And he used to say, life's an experiment in truth. We have ideas about life, but we can test them out. So I'm going to do a little experiment in truth. I'm going to send out love to each one of you just listening right now, on the radio or anywhere else, or on YouTube later on. I'm sending out love to each one of you. A deep, deep love that can touch your heart, mind, soul, and spirit. See if you can feel that love. See if you can feel that joy. Right now. I feel surrounded by that love right now, so I'm feeling already the blessing from you. But I want you to feel it yourself. I want you to feel divine and infinite love surrounding you right now, wherever you are. Sitting in your living room, in your car, it doesn't matter where you are. Divine and infinite love reaching out to you right now. And now I'll take it even a level even deeper. I want you to open your heart right now. Just imagine that we are connecting heart to heart, soul to soul, and infinite love is lifting us up, healing us from anything we've been struggling with. So if there's anything you've been struggling with, I want you to feel love connecting us together in joy and peace and grace right now as we speak. See if you can feel that love yourself. If you can just open your heart right now. You are a recipient of infinite love. We all have the ability to share great love. It's been given to all of us. And when we start to have that love, life is so magical. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever your story is, I personally, just me, with what's given to me, I'm sending love to each one of you right now. Jimmy Owens, thank you for saying that positive thought. Hey, Jonelle, how you doing? I send each of you love. And Jimmy, I want to interview you soon on the show, as soon as we can. Jimmy's got a great story. He's got another heart beating in his life that's given him a chance for extending his life. And that's pretty amazing. And I interviewed him on this show before. But whoever you are, we're going back on the radio right now. Good evening. This is Robert Sidell. I'm really loving being with you here this Sunday night. The idea of tonight is, what is our purpose? How can we make our life really count? So when we get to the end of our life, we don't say, boy, I wasted that opportunity. We don't want that. We don't want that kind of experience. And listen, none of us is perfect. None of us. We all need lots of forgiveness and all the time. That's just the story of life. But tonight I want to think about what you and I can do as human beings to get in tune with this magical gift of life that we somehow got to be a part of. And somehow this magical gift of life tonight has brought us together, those that are listening right now. And here's a little card I like to hand out to people if you've never seen it before. I don't know if you can see it very well there or not. Expect a miracle. I give that little card out to people a lot. And you'd be surprised how many, to people I don't even know, you'd be surprised how many people say to me, boy, I needed that. I needed that. You know what? Everybody needs it. You see what it is we all need love. So whoever's listening here tonight, that's why I'm having fun with this divine experiment of sending you literally love right now. Let it surround you and unfold you and embrace you. See if you can feel that. I've been convinced, actually since I've been quite young, that there's a way we human beings could learn to share love with one another that could turn this world into a heaven. Because when you feel that love in your heart, suddenly this life becomes magical. Suddenly this life is magical. So when we can feel that love, then we're on the right track. And when you can share that love with other people, you're serving God. And that's what I really believe is an opportunity. Just in this very week, I found out two of my friends that used to come to some seminars I taught, both made their transitions. They were in their 80s and it's their time to pass. But it made me also realize, what am I doing? What can I keep doing? Because we can't take for granted the number of days. Jimmy, I will do that. I see that. He just call me and set it up. We can't take for granted the number of days we have. We can't take for granted the love in our hearts, can we? We can't take that for granted, can we, Jimmy? Or Jonelle? We can't. It's there to be shared. I know that you that are listening, you may be thinking about yourself. Who knows? I'm not going to try to project what you're thinking right now. But what I do want you to know, hi Debbie, how you doing? Each of you makes a difference. Debbie frequently sends me little messages in the morning, which are nice. They lift me up. We human beings, we really came to this earth to learn how to lift each other up. I'm sure of it. There's a story I heard once. You probably have heard it too, but it's a fun little story. So there's this guy, I'll see if I can tell the story right. Hopefully I can get it right. He dies and he ends up going to, he's in hell and there's all this food everywhere. But the problem is they've all got these long forks. So when you try to feed yourself, their arms aren't long enough, so they can't put the food in their mouths. And he's saying to God, he goes, well, wait a minute, why is it set up like this? Why is it like this? So then God decides to let him, so there's all these people that have everything around them they need, but they've got these long, long forks, so they can't reach the food to put it in their own mouths because the forks are too long to reach to their mouths. If you can imagine such a story. So then he gets a chance to get a glimpse of heaven. And here's the funny part about it. Guess what? It was the same food and the same forks. But do you know the difference? People in heaven were picking up the forks and feeding the other people. So it didn't matter they couldn't reach their own mouth. that could reach the other people's mouths. So they were all feeding each other, and they had this happy experience. And listen, I'm as imperfect as anybody about anything, really. So, but the idea simply there is, if we realize that the purpose of life is designed for us to learn how to love and lift each other up, then that we'll be so much happier. And when you see people, you may or may not realize this, but those people need your love. They may not act like that. Like I said, when I hand out my little Expect a Miracle card to people, it's funny. I do get lots of interesting stories. I remember this happened a couple of years ago. I gave out I was at dinner at a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown, and there was a nice little couple sitting next to us at our table, and I walked by them. I said, "Are you two married?" I like to ask questions like that, and luckily people don't seem to mind. So they said, no, actually it's our first date. I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "So, take one of my Expect a Miracle cards. Here it is. So anyway, we went out, we left, they left, and that was the end of that. 3 years went by. We got a call one night and somebody had been in an accident, and they came to see us and asked for our assistance. I'm a personal injury attorney, and my son was meeting with them, and I walked in the room, and they saw one of my Expect a Miracle cards sitting on the desk. So I said, "Wait a minute, how'd that card get on your desk?" "Well, we have one of those too." They didn't even realize we were the same people that I had connected with them 3 years earlier. But here's the fun part. Guess what? They were now married and had children. Isn't that fun? So I had met them the first date, gave them an Expect a Miracle card. They show up back in my life 3 years later. They're married and have children. And they were so excited that they got a chance to come back and reconnect and close that loop. It was so much fun. Every time I talked to her, she and I talked about that. So the point is, you don't know what's coming. Let's you and I be open to something magical, wonderful. You know, we all hear sort of the same news, right? It's just the world we're in right now. There's lots of news, right? See, it's a different world. I mean, when I was growing up, there was news, but there was like 3 stations, and that was it. And the radio. There was no such thing as the internet, and there was no cable stations. There was no nothing. So you did get some news, but it really wasn't the intensity that we get today. But today, we're hearing stuff all the time that can make us angry, make us frustrated, or make us fearful. And you know what? That's not the way to live, is it really? That's not how we want to live on this earth. We want to live in love and in grace. And when you see people doing things to one another that are hurting one another, you all heard about all these people that are vandalizing Teslas. I understand that people have their emotions and they have their politics and everything, but really, vandalizing people's cars certainly can't be the most loving thing they could do. Now, some people today say, we're dancing. Hey, I like that better. If you wanted to do a protest, dance. That sounds better to me. But the point I'm getting at, though, is that we want to start being more loving to one another. We want less attacking and more loving. And you and I need to open our hearts. How can you and I learn to share more love right now, this very moment? The action time is now. Now. It's always now. It's always now. Tomorrow's not the time for you to share the love you can share right now. Now's not the time for you to share what you could have shared 20 minutes ago. Now is a unique time for you to share love right this second. So I encourage you, wherever you are in this very second, I'm sending you, because here's the thing, I'm trying to fulfill my life purpose. And I want to share as much love as God will let me, as long as God lets me walk around in this body on this earth. I want to share as much love as I can. Because, first of all, it makes it a lot happier, right? It's just more fun. If you're more loving, life is more fun. I mean, just on the most simplistic level. But it's also much, much more rewarding. When you give love to people, and you share love with people, and you encourage people, and you lift them up, and remind them that they have something special. And you know what? People like that. They love it. And you can do that too. Yeah, Jimmy Owens. And don't you, Jimmy? Jimmy, the one who has a heart transplant, is saying, you never know if you're going to get the next day. Yeah, we don't. I mean, I know that from experience because I have two brothers that both passed away. One passed away at age 48, left two young kids behind. He had pancreatic cancer, and another brother that passed away at age 55. Both way younger than I am now. So, hi Elizabeth, good to see you on there. See, this is what hits me, okay, my friends, and I'm probably forgive me if I'm not as clear about it as I could be, perhaps. If we are sentient, feeling, conscious beings, we have been given the gift. Hey, Ernie, good to see you on there. We have been given the gift to be able to share love and awareness. Why not just open our hearts and see what happens? Why not let the floodgates of love open up out of our souls? Whether it's you, Jimmy, whether it's you, Elizabeth, why not let your heart open up? Why not become a beacon of love wherever you go? As my mom got older, she did get some degree of dementia. But it's interesting, she still kept her heart open. So I remember once we were in Kmart out of town, and I was wondering, what happened to Mom? All of a sudden, she walked up, and she had this woman holding her arm, and this girl saying, "Your mother's so loving, she's so kind, and I'm so grateful I had a chance to meet your mother." And that's the way my mom was to the end of her life. And she may not remember all the details about you, but she would share love. In fact, that's one of my friends put it to me this way. In my mom's case, as her mind somewhat receded, I'll call it receded, her love simply came and became stronger. So what I want to tell each of you is that you don't have to lose your conscious mind either, though. That just happened to be part of her story at the very end of her life. But what I want to say to each one of you is, you are living vessels of divine love. Open your hearts right now. Just see if you can flip that door open on your heart. See if you can feel some love flowing in there. Just feel it. So this is Robert Sidell. We're going to go to a break. You're listening to The Gateway Show, and I'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. And those on Facebook, I'll stay with you. So for me anyway, what I made a decision for just even recently, but it's not, in a way, I made it a long time ago, but I thought, I don't know how many days God's going to give me on this earth. So I'm going to do every day, wherever I go, I'm going to share as much love as I can share with the people around me. And it doesn't matter whether I'm at McDonald's, getting a cup of coffee. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. What I find is you can share love. And you'd be surprised how receptive people are. Even simple words, I really appreciate you doing that for me. I appreciate what you do for me. Acknowledging people that help you out. When we go into a business somewhere and somebody serves us, yes, we may be paying for it in some way, but really it's a gift they're serving us. Why did we get that gift? Why did you and I get that gift? Why is it the gift is being given to us? So let's be receptive to it and be grateful. Be very kind about it as much as we possibly can. And I find if you tell people, boy, I really appreciate that. I appreciate your attitude. You know what? You made a difference in my life today, which people often do. They make a difference in my life. Guess what? In that moment, you know what? I feel much happier. And so does that other person. And guess what? There's a real good chance that person will then go on and share some love with somebody else. So for each of you listening right now, again, right now, just experiment. See if you can open the floodgates of your heart. Just open them up. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. See if you can feel, I'm sending you out from my heart to heart, love to love. It's funny. As we get older, we're still kids. I mean, one of my theories is we're really all just kids. Have you ever figured that out yet? You're still a 5-year-old. Jimmy Owens, you're a 5-year-old. Ernie, you're a 5-year-old. Elizabeth, you're a 5-year-old. Debbie, you're a 5-year-old. You may be in a body that's not 5, but you're a 5-year-old. We still, what do we really want? We want to have some fun with our friends. Isn't that true? Really? Don't get too complicated about it. We want to have some fun. So, what you and I can do right now is just play and let our hearts open up and share love with each other. And just imagine that what you really are is a 5-year-old, just in a body that doesn't know it's 5 years old. And if you and I can do that, guess what? Your secret is out. Yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I knew that about you, Elizabeth. I think it's true. I've been thinking a lot about it. I've got a wonderful little grandchild. And by the way, I have another grandchild on the way. So I've got some exciting, good things happening. But, we're still those little kids that we were then. We're just living in a world, coping with the world as we deal with it, right? We're just about to be back in the radio. Just a second. Good evening. This is Robert Sidell. It's a real pleasure to be with you here on this Sunday night, doing the Gateway Show live. And really, what I'm really truly and I'm trying to just share. I said it's not too late to live our purpose. And Jimmy, Jimmy's on here, and I've interviewed him before, but he literally lives because somebody else's heart lives inside of him. By the way, I can't remember if I told you, Jimmy. There's a whole TV show about that right now, but I'll talk. It's called what's it go? How does it go? Goodbye. It's a Japanese show. Anyway, it's a great show. It has the word goodbye in it. And I will talk to you more about it, but it's, yeah. Oh, Jimmy, thank you for saying that. Congratulations. It's so exciting to see these little kids exploring life and having fun. And it makes me realize you and I can keep doing that too. We really, really can. And what happens is, as we get older, we start worrying what people might think of us. I mean, what's the world going to think of Jimmy Owens if he starts to become too loving? Well, you may already be that way, Jimmy. Just a little I know of you. But I mean, or Liz, what are they going to think of you? But I mean, or any of you, Debbie. I mean, but you know what? All that's going to happen, the worst thing that happens is they'll say, oh, there's that kind of crazy guy that shares love and smiles a lot. I remember years ago when my wife was teaching school, and I've been on this spiritual journey for a while now. I'm keep trying to grow in it. And my wife's principal said to Karen, she goes, your husband always seems to be smiling and happy. I was wondering, why does he do that? Which I thought was kind of funny. And I still know her, by the way. And she took some of my seminars, as a matter of fact. And guess what? A lot of the things she hoped for came true. But the funny part is, so maybe we'll seem a little strange. We're those strange, happy people. But wouldn't it be better to be a strange, happy person than to be an average, unhappy person? See, my theory is, it's up to us. There's a famous saying that I like that one of my spiritual teachers used to like to say: if it's going to be, it's up to me. So that's what I want you to think. That's what I want each of you to think about yourselves. Liz, I want you to think about it. If it's going to be, it's up to me. So what are we worrying about? What are we so afraid of? I walk into a place like Costco, and actually they often know me in there just because I go in for so many different things a lot of times. But the bottom line is that I remember one time I actually dropped something in there, a piece of clothing, and I walked in. Later on, I was going to ask him about it. He said, oh, hey, Robert, we have your thing over here. So how'd you know it's mine? She goes, oh, we know who you are. It's only because I talked to them and somebody knew who I was wearing and put it up there for me. And it's only, just yesterday I was in Costco, and how they hand out little samples. And this lady said to me, miracle samples, because I've given her a miracle card before. It's like, why don't we play more on those levels, right? Let's play more on that level. Let's play. Listen, there's lots of serious stuff in the world. I know there's sometimes adversities and hardships. Don't get me wrong. We all know that. But the best thing we can do in meeting those adversities and hardships is to laugh and fill our hearts with joy and try to bring happiness to the experience. When I have clients that come to me and they're facing a particular hardship, I always offer to pray with them. And you'd be surprised. I'd say on an average of 2 to 3 times a week, I pray with my clients. And most people like it. I mean, they just really, I'd like you to pray for me. Well, please. And it's especially if they're facing a hardship. And sometimes I have people that are facing tough hardships. And but prayer, I mean, even if people don't have a lot of faith in God, who doesn't want to get prayed for, right? And so it's a little simple, easy thing you can do for the people in your world. And if you meet somebody and they seem to be struggling a little bit, you can ask them, is there anything I could help you out? Can I pray for you a little bit? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So let's see. Let me just say, I'm trying to say tonight, how can you and I fulfill our purpose? Well, the truest thing I could really say what your purpose is in life, the truest I could say, is really to learn how to share love. And we all have to manage to get our bodies fed and have a house, right? And a place to live. We all have to add to that. But if you talk about a purpose, what is your purpose? I mean, you could be very, very famous, but if you don't have love in your heart, is that going to do you any good? Unfortunately, we see too many stories of that, don't we? There's lots and lots of famous celebrities that still, and God bless them all, I wish them no harm, but they haven't found love in their hearts. And so what you and I can do, and wherever we are, is we can try to share love with everybody we encounter. And since I'm 72 now, so when I talk to adjusters and things like that, I tell them, now listen, I'm 72, I've been doing this for 48 years now, so I like to play and have a little bit of fun. And I try to talk to them that way. And 9 out of 10 times they like it. Actually, probably even more than 9 out of 10 times. But the bottom line is, once in a while I'll meet somebody, they don't want to respond on that level, and that's okay. No problem. We all get to try to respond to people where they're at, right? Where they're at. But each of you that are out there, where you are, become a beacon of love. Become a beacon of love. Discover that who you are is nothing but a living instrument of God's grace. And what could you do in this world as an instrument of God's love? What could you do? What could you do if where you went, you saw yourself as fulfilling God's purpose? You know, the early disciples of Christ, how did they do it? I mean, they just went out and they were being opposed and everything else, and yet somehow they shared love, and that love spread to the point where literally billions of people now know that message. Just this small group of people who were being ostracized became so filled with love that they were able to change people's lives. And you can do the same thing. That's all I want you to know. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever your story is, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. And I'll even say this right now, my deepest prayer for each one of you listening is that God will knock on your shoulder in a nice, loving way and give you the experience of love. So real, so complete, so total, that you'll never question God's reality again. That's my prayer for you. How's that for a good prayer? I pray that God By the way, here's the funny thing about that. There's another guy I'm going to get on my radio show. He was not exactly an atheist, but he wasn't too strong in his faith either. I'll tell a tiny bit of his story, and I'm going to have him on the show soon. He's been on it before, but it's been a few years now. We met at a networking group, and unfortunately his son died it doesn't matter what he died, but he died. So here he was his only child. So he was very devastated, and he didn't have real strong faith in God. So one night he was sitting there watching TV a couple months after his son passed, and suddenly he feels a hand on his shoulder, and he hears laughing. And he was watching the show he and his son used to watch all the time together. And, what was that? I felt a hand on my shoulder. I must be imagining things. Then he felt a hand again. And then suddenly, and he heard more laughing, and then he heard a voice. And guess what? It was his son's voice. And he said, "Dad, I died, but you didn't. I'm expecting you to go out and live a full life." His son told him, this is a guy who didn't believe in anything like this. And it changed his life so much. The very next day, he started out an exercise campaign. There's Andy. Yeah, he started an exercise campaign, ended up losing half of his body weight. And he really just totally changed his life. And now I always see pictures. He's kind of a character himself. I'm going to have him on too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to call him the next day or so, and I'll let him tell you the story, so you hear it directly from him. What's good about that story is he didn't expect anything like that in his life could happen, but it did. You know, I mentioned earlier, this is that we never know we make differences in people's lives. That I found out about a couple different people that passed that were friends of mine. Well, one of the people that called me this week, I had represented her 35 years ago when her husband unfortunately passed away in an accident. And she was young and had a young child. So we became kind of close. And her mother had been a good friend of mine for a long time, too. And so her mother, turns out, passed away about a week ago. So she called me, doesn't even live in Nevada anymore, to let me know her mother had died. Now here I am. I hadn't even talked to her for like 25 years. And I'm the first person that she called other than her family. And the only thing I can think of is that because we had shared such a personal, intimate experience. And it really made a big difference to me. And I'm so glad. And I did say a prayer with her related to her mother, because her mother is a good friend of mine. And I've said a number of prayers since then for her too. But the point is, you don't know when you're making a difference. This is a woman that the younger woman, her daughter, I literally haven't talked to her for 35 years. But I'm talking to her last week, praying for her because her mother passed. She reached out to me. What I'm trying to tell you is you don't know what difference you make to what people. So reach out in love and in prayer and in kindness wherever you are. And you will start to make a difference in a way that you never imagined. And you'll start to have a much happier life. People may think you're a little strange at times. That's okay. I mean, I don't have any trouble with that story. And mostly I don't think people do think that too much anyway. Maybe some do. I don't know. Probably some do. But that doesn't really matter. But the point is, I'd rather share more love, do more of what I think is God's work on the world than to worry what people are thinking about. I don't want to go to my grave thinking, oh, I was so conservative, I couldn't even share love or anything. I don't want to do that. That would be a mistake in my mind. All right, my friends, this is Robert Sidell. Hey, Susan, it's nice to see you on there. I know you just joined recently after our mutual friend, Sherelle, or Mrs. United States. I love that interview. I'll have to interview her again one of these days very soon, I'm sure. I'm going to go to a break. When I get back, it'll be not just me. I'll have Reverend Ernie with me. We'll keep sharing love. But I'm telling you, that is really the thing. How many of you are unhappy when you're filled with love? You're not. How many of you can have lots of stuff, but if you don't have love, you're not happy? So I'm all for have what you need in physical stuff. No problem. Have prosperity. But let love fill your heart. Let love flood your soul. Let love bless you. All right, this is Robert Sidell. Go into a break, and I'll stick with you on Facebook right now. So my friends, I'll be back with Ernie in just a second. I'm over. I've done well in school and other things in life, and one reason why I've done well is I like to simplify things. So I'm kind of simplifying the spiritual journey down to a word called love. And if you share enough love, I am sure you will start to become very happy. Yes, Susan just put yes, Sherelle is a good friend and a blessing. She is. Sherelle's very, very sweet. I loved interviewing her. She lifted me up. And that's, we have to all be lifted up. She lifted me up, and I love it. She's a real powerful spiritual teacher. She really, really is. So, each of you that are on here tonight, it's kind of a miracle, really. Well, it is a miracle. I feel your love. I literally do feel your love, and I feel imbued with love, lifted up by love, surrounded by love. And guess what? That's from each one of you. It's from you, Jimmy, and from you, Liz, and you, Susan, and you, Debbie, and all the different people that are on there. Each of you is sharing your own love. And I'm not sure at the end of it all we can share anything more than our love. What more can we share? What difference can we really make more than sharing love and kindness and happiness to people? Love, kindness, and happiness. Ah, good. There's Ernie. Oh, good. Janet's there too. Good. Can you both hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Robert.
What about you, Janet?
I can hear you.
All right.
I can hear Janet as well. Yes.
Perfect. And Owen, can you hear them? Hopefully. Well, we'll hope. Hopefully, we'll know in a couple seconds.
Who's Owen?
Owen is the guy who runs the board operation.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
at the radio station?
Yeah. And by the way, Debbie's saying hi to both of you. And
Sorry. Sorry. Sneezing.
oh, I didn't see you. Are you sitting outside?
Yeah, I decided to sit outside.
Why not? We'll be back on the radio in just a moment. Here we go. Oh. Oh, Elizabeth says she loves the flower and the heart behind you, Janet.
That just came off my bush today, and it smells delicious.
Delicious. I like that. All right, my friends, this is Robert Sidell. And this is a Gateway show on every Sunday Night Live, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. You know, it really lifts me up every week. It's like spiritual calisthenics or something. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, the love each of you have lifts me up, and my intention is that Ernie's love and Janet's love, my love, and God's love really will lift each one of you up too, and that's the whole purpose. So we've got Reverend Janet and Reverend Ernie. Let you go first, Reverend Ernie. Give us a prayer tonight. Give it to us, buddy. Give it to us.
All right. Thank you, Robert. The title of the prayer is, "It's not too late for you to fulfill your life purpose on this earth." Dear Lord, thank you for this blessed day. We give gratitude and praises for gifting this wonderful life and to journey through all life experiences. Lord, grant us to be in awareness of your divinity and blend it with each of our abilities, creativities, and all the available resources to unlock the key to making our life purpose come true. Help us to see how well we can be of service to others. We acknowledge to be less self-centered, less addictive to materialism or any form of addictions or attachments, and see ourselves as your instruments, vessels, and messengers. Guide us from within to spread more of love, compassion, understanding, to fulfill each of our inner goals, dreams, purpose, and mission in this life, creating heaven on earth, and so it is.
Thank you, Ernie. You always do a beautiful job with that.
Thanks, Robert.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if either of you heard me say earlier. I said, really, we're all just 5-year-olds living in older bodies. You know, it's funny. Our basic essence doesn't change that much, really, does it? But we learn to be proper and prim and all these sorts of things. Now, Ernie, I just thought I have to change it with you, though. You're more like a 4-year-old. No, I'm just teasing you. Just teasing you, Ernie. But now, Janet, well, we don't want to talk about how old she is. But anyway, inside.
Okay.
Just teasing you. So, Janet, what do you have to share with us tonight?
So I felt like I needed to read something out of Course in Miracles, and then I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but I'm reading lesson 345, which is because you're always talking about your miracle card. I offer only miracles today, for I would have them be returned to me. And it's sort of like a prayer, this part. Father, a miracle reflects your gifts to me, your son, and everyone I give returns to me, reminding me the law of love is universal. Even here, it takes a form which can be recognized and seem to work. The miracles I give are given back in just the form I need to help me with the problems I perceive. Father, in heaven, it is different, for there are no needs. But here on earth, the miracle is closer to your gifts than any other gift that I can give. Then let me give this gift alone today. which, born of true forgiveness, lights the way that I must travel to remember you. And then it says, peace to all seeking hearts today. The light has come to offer miracles to bless the tired world. It will find rest today, for we will offer what we have received. Amen.
That's very beautiful. And I think by the way, I think all of us, this is a tired world, all of us sometimes become a little bit tired or fatigued. It's just part of life, right? I know, Ernie, you still get up pretty early. You're like 79 and you get up pretty early to do your teaching,
Yes.
don't you? What time do you have to get up for that?
4:15 in the morning.
Wow. But I never hear you complaining about it. So you're a very special person. And Janet, you have a different kind of story you do, because you're always doing all these weddings and have a lot of different stories in these weddings, don't you?
Yep, I do.
And I'm sure you could probably write a whole book on those too, because some of the different things you've told me about the different people that show up and their different expectations and all that.
That's true. But it's fun. I love doing it, so it's good.
Well, that's the secret, is that can we bring joy into what we're doing? And when we have enough love in our hearts, we can bring joy pretty much to almost anything we're doing. And that's it's interesting. Like I said, I've been just lately, just it's a little thing for me. I'm just having a little bit of fun with this. I've been going occasionally to McDonald's and getting a senior coffee and living high on life. I'm just teasing. It's funny. It's an ultimate deal, right? It's $1 for a cup of coffee. It's kind of funny. But what I find is interesting, this particular place I go, the people that work there are very happy. They really are committed. They really do a great job. I'd like to meet the owner one of these days. In fact, maybe I can interview him on my radio show. Whatever he's done, he's figured out a way to motivate these people, and they're all very, very nice, and they come over, and I mean, it's I'm paying $1, but I'm getting this great service. It's kind of amazing, really. And I know it's kind of funny, isn't it? And of course, I give them all a miracle card, right? Because everybody wants miracles. Everybody wants to have a good life. That's just the way it is in this life. But I'm keeping track of the time a little bit here. But anyway, both of you make a big difference wherever you go, and I know that about you both. And so I know that, and you know what? I'm claiming for each one of you, and for me too, and for everybody listening right now, that the best miracles and joy and new people, new friends, new love, new possibilities that could never have imagined are waiting for us right now. Just still waiting to walk into our lives. Just like 10 years ago, you walked into a networking group with me, Ernie, and we've been friends ever since then.
Right, that's right.
And we never knew we didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Listen to this. There's a guy that works for me at my office. I met him at a law firm that I worked at 40 years ago. Actually, longer than that, longer than 40 years ago. And he and I still talk every day because he works for me now. But it's not just that. We are best friends. He's just a wonderful friend to me. And how did that happen? I just happened to walk into a law firm, met this guy, and he's been a friend all these years. I mean, how does that happen in life? We don't know who we're going to meet and what's going to change our life, do we?
Yes.
We just got to be open to new possibilities and new friends and new love. And I think, you know what? I hear the music going, so I think we're out of time here.
Oh.
But were you going to say something, Janet?
No. Mm-mm.
Well, I just want to say this to Janet and Ernie. I know your prayers make a huge difference to people. May God bless both of you. May everybody be listening to this show. May the Holy Spirit, power of Jesus Christ, and all that is good be with you this week. And may we all be open to miraculous good and new possibilities until we get together again. This is Robert Sidell wishing you the best. This is The Gateway Show. God bless. It's Robert Sidell.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
Let's see here. I got to kind of do a couple things here. Hold on a second here.